What's going on, Washington fans? We're back with another video. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Not going to keep you long here today. I did want to tell you guys, though, that something happened yesterday that was pretty notable. The Steelers apparently tried to call in and offer the Commanders a deal for Terry McLaurin, and they called in, I guess, to see what the situation was. And we got word that the Commanders are not trading Terry McLaurin and that they declined the Steelers' offer, and they're probably not even picking up the phones is what it sounded like to me. So before we get into today's video, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. On the road to 2,000 subscribers. I cannot do it without you. Hit that notification bell as well. So, apparently, the Steelers tried to trade for Terry. Well, not tried to trade. They tried to offer for Terry McLaurin. I'm not going to go as far as to say they tried to trade for Terry McLaurin, but it was interesting to hear that the Steelers, were tried to do this. They're the first team that is apparently going to offer for McLaurin. I thought it was interesting because a lot of people were talking about it. They made it seem like a big deal. Brandon on X, at Jaden Daniels MVP, go follow him. He's a great Commanders creator. He said, the Steelers have contacted the Commanders in acquiring wide receiver Terry McLaurin in a potential trade. And he also noted that Pittsburgh just recently traded for DK Metcalf, who is making $33 million average annual per year. So I think it was interesting. Obviously, the Steelers are one of the teams that would probably look for another receiver. I mean, they traded away George Pickens. They are a receiver-needy team. Their wide receiver, too, is who? Roman Wilson. So they're a receiver-needy team. So you could expect them to try to trade for a guy like McLaurin. I think it's interesting that they're trying to see what they could get, see what they could offer the Commanders for McLaurin. Yes, we'll get into the part of how the Commanders declined and how that's good news, but the Steelers, it's interesting that they tried to trade for him because they would have to trade assets for McLaurin, and then they would have to pay McLaurin what he desires. So that's going to be a hard task, but it's really good news for Commanders fans that the Commanders just declined it. We got a report from Tony Pauline the other day that the Commanders got multiple offers for McLaurin already, and they declined all of those. They're not trading Terry McLaurin, guys. The Commanders will not trade Terry McLaurin. You can ask for a trade if you're Terry McLaurin. You can ask for it, but it doesn't mean you're going to get it, right? You can ask for something. It doesn't mean you're going to get it, okay? This was Terry McLaurin in Buddy Baker's last card to throw to try to get contract talks back on track and back going, because I've heard it's been reported that these two sides haven't talked in a little while, and both sides are stuck. Both sides are being stubborn, and Adam Peters, and I've said this so many freaking times, both sides are being stubborn. Adam Peters doesn't want to pay Terry McLaurin enough, and Terry McLaurin wants too much money. So both are going to have to meet in the middle. I believe that's about $30 million. If you can do that, I think that would be very, very good. Because I think he's a $30 million wide receiver. Okay, I get the age. But, and I get Adam Peters not wanting to be the first guy to pay a guy that's going to be over 30, over $30 million. I get Adam Peters not wanting to be the guinea pig and do that, but for this type of wide receiver, how much he means to the team, how productive he is, how he shows no signs of slowing down, how he shows no signs of injuries, he's a $30 million wide receiver. Okay, I'm going to play it straight up. I get guys like Courtland Sutton. I get guys like Mike Evans. They got their extension. Mike Evans got his extension, 2 years ago? A year ago? I mean, it's not, the money goes up a lot. The market moves. As far as Courtland Sutton, Terry McLaurin is way better than Courtland Sutton. I think he's a $30 million wide receiver. If you look at the guys that are up there, do I think he's $33 million? No. So we got reports that Terry McLaurin was asking for roughly $33 million from Adam Schefter, and that's not right. He should not ask for $33 million because he's not going to get that. The Steelers overpaid DK Metcalf. Okay, that's the thing that fans have to understand. DK Metcalf has been overpaid. So as far as the Steelers trying to trade for Terry McLaurin, it's interesting. I think that they could use another wide receiver. I think that they would benefit from McLaurin, obviously. I don't know how they would make it done, though, trading for him and then paying him. That's just too much, and you're already paying DK Metcalf. The reason they can do that, though, is because they don't have a quarterback. right? You're paying Aaron Rodgers $19 million for this year, and it's a 1-year deal. It's not a, Patrick Mahomes type deal. It's not even a Brock Purdy type deal. It's not even one of those. It's, they don't have to pay a quarterback. That's why they can go out and do this. So I think it's a smart move by their side. But the Commanders declined the offer right away, and I think that's great news to hear. I think it just confirms what I've been saying. They're not going to trade Terry McLaurin. Why would they trade Terry McLaurin? You go and you attack this team, right? You get a bunch of guys on 1-year deals, which means you're trying to win now. You also trade for Deebo Samuel, which means you're trying to win now. With this explosiveness, you just get a 1-year deal. It's a high-risk move because you're paying a lot. It's a fully guaranteed contract for this year. So, and then you trade for Laramie Tunsil. You trade all those assets and picks for Laramie Tunsil, and you just don't do this type of stuff if you're, not going to go all in for the team and try to win the Super Bowl. So, obviously every team's trying to win the Super Bowl, but we're right on the brink of it. And if you trade Terry McLaurin away, you just can't do that. Now, people have mentioned, Terry McLaurin for Tyreek Hill. Sure, that could give you a chance. But I think Terry McLaurin's the best guy to fit in the offense. And I also think he fits the Commander tag. I also think he fits the culture. I think if you're going to sit here and go talk about how you love the guys that fit your culture, you love the guys that show up the earliest and work the hardest, and not pay one of them, I mean, it doesn't look very good on your side. But I think that this is business. So it's not necessarily bad on their side yet. Now, if they don't pay him, that's bad because, if you talk about this and you're not going to pay a guy, that's bad, right? I think Terry McLaurin deserves $30 million. I will stick to that. And earlier on in the process, we talked about Terry McLaurin. We didn't even think of a number in the 20s. We said 3, something with the 3 and over. We said that multiple times, and that's what we assumed it was going to be. And normally over time, the market goes up. But it's just going down for McLaurin. I'm going to stick to my word, though. I'm going to stick to my word and say $30 million. I'm going to stick to that, okay? Because I believe that's what Terry McLaurin should get. Is he going to get that? Probably not. Because it doesn't sound like Adam Peters and the Commanders are there yet. But it's understandable. It's business. I mean, the Commanders have $21 million in cap space left. And I think that's what it is. And I think you can make this happen, right? The extension kicks in when he's 31, but he's still going to be going when he's 31. So I think the previous numbers offered to McLaurin, which we got reports it was slightly over what he's making now, which is $23 million. I think that's slightly disrespectful from Adam Peters. So you're going to have to raise that number up, but Terry McLaurin's also going to have to come down. So if we can do that, I think we can make it work. But apparently the Steelers tried to trade for McLaurin and completely declined it. And we also saw a video of McLaurin yesterday, right, shaking Josh Harris's hand, meeting with Jaden Daniels' mom. This is the fakest trade request ever, right? He doesn't want to leave. For those of you saying he wants out, he doesn't want out, right? He might be a little bit frustrated at the front office. He might be a little bit frustrated at Adam Peters. But he doesn't want to leave, man. I mean, how could you want to leave from Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn? You can't. I mean, he doesn't want to leave, okay? So I'm going to shut that down right now. He does not want to leave this team right now. Now, if this thing gets worse and he ends up playing under his current contract, which is very possible at this point, which we never thought was possible, but it's very possible now, he could want to leave because, at the end of the day, if you're not going to pay me, why should I stick around here and give you everything I got? Because I just won't play, Or he can say, since the money's going to go up over the next year, I'll play for you under this current contract, and I'll just knock some sense into you. You didn't pay me this year. I'll knock some sense into you, and I'll play, and I'll show you what I can do, and I'll get the same 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns again, and I will force you to franchise tag me, and I will force you to pay me $30 million. I think the franchise tag next year is $30.4 million. I think that's what I heard. So I'll just force you to pay me that, right? He could do that, okay? But he'd rather get an extension. The Commanders and Adam Peters would rather get an extension because you're saving a ton of money by giving him an extension, a year early. So you're saving money by doing that. Okay, so it would help. It would benefit both sides. But you don't want to get stuck on these contract talks and not get anything done. Okay, so you have to get something done. I do still believe they will come to a deal, but it is at the same time, it's like, how long can we kick the can down the road? How long can we keep saying, oh, it's going to get done before mandatory minis? Oh, it's going to get done before OTA's phase 3, and then it was mandatory minis, and then, it's going to get done, before July. Oh, it's going to get done before rookies report, veterans report. Oh, it's going to get done before training camp. Oh, it's going to get done before joint practices coming up in 3 days? Can we say that? I don't think so. The two sides seem like really far apart. So they're going to have to come together. So one side's going to have to give. And that's the way the business works. If you don't understand that, then you don't know business. They're going to have to give. One of the sides is going to have to give. Both are going to have to give a little bit, actually. So as long as you do that and you come to a deal, we're all going to be happy at the end of the day. I think it could come out to like 29.5 million, 30 million. I think that would be perfect. But we'll see what ends up happening. All I know is that the Steelers yesterday tried to trade for Terry McLaurin and they shut it down right away. So I think we got great news there. That's going to do it for me. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. See you in the next one. Peace.